All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar titled FF&E in Focus, Unlocking the Power of Reuse for an Impactful 2025. I'm Daniel Kietzer. I am our Head of Sustainability at Rheaply. I've been working with the company for about 4 years now. Super passionate about all things climate action, all things circularity, all things reuse, and all things impact. And really, really excited to talk to you all today about our impact through 2024 and kind of where things are headed for us in the new year. I'd also love to introduce Maddie, our product operations manager and master of all things Rheaply data. Maddie, do you want to give a quick introduction?
Yeah, thank you for that, Daniel. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Like Daniel said, my name is Maddie. I am a product operations manager here at Rheaply. I've been with Rheaply for about 5.5 years now. Like Daniel said, master of all things Rheaply. I've been here from the beginning, so I've been very excited to see the growth of Rheaply and its users. And I'm very excited today to share our reuse metrics and the impact that our users have had in 2024.
Amazing. Thank you, Maddie. So a couple of notes before we jump in. Obviously we'll be showing a few slides during today's presentation, but we'll also be showing a product demo showcasing a few things on the Rheaply platform. If you have questions along the way, please use the Q&A module to submit those questions. We'll have plenty of time at the end to get to those and can follow up after with anything that we don't cover. Your microphones will stay muted, so the best way to interact with us is through that Q&A function. Our agenda today. So we're going to spend about 10 minutes going over some highlights from 2024 and speaking to our impacts over the course of last year. And then, as I said, we will jump into a platform demo, talking about how to create listings, talking about how to browse listings, do transactions. And then, given the theme of this being on reporting, we'll talk a little bit about how we show our data and how we report impact on the Rheaply platform. And then we'll move right into a Q&A for the final 10 minutes. So a quick overview for anybody that's new to Rheaply or hearing about us for the first time. So Rheaply's a climate technology company that's been around since 2016 on a very, very motivated mission to build a connected community where every workplace resource finds its next best use. We do that through a combination of our technology and some connected services. And we also do that through the involvement and active engagement of some very, very wonderful organizations to the tune of about 3,500 or so across the US. Some of those are really, really big companies. Some of those are really, really tiny organizations. Some of those are wonderful and amazing nonprofits that are doing wonderful community impact work. It really kind of spans the range of folks, and we love all of them. And we at any given time we manage a considerable amount of assets on the Rheaply platform, and we're leveraging that asset information to move materials in very, very impactful ways. We've been very fortunate to get to bring in a number of subject matter experts in circularity to our team over the years, and we really do consider ourselves thought leaders in circularity. And so working with us, working with our technology, doesn't mean you just get to use great tools every day to do circularity. You also get to work with a very stacked bench of experts in the space. With that, I will pass things over to Maddie to talk about our year in review.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. I get to do the really fun part today, which is share our impact metrics from 2024 and highlight all of the great stuff that our users were able to accomplish with Rheaply. So that is 366 days of reuse wins. And it all starts with a listing. So a listing is the post that you make on the Rheaply platform to show others the surplus assets that you have within your organizations. And then users can make offers on that, and that turns into a reuse moment. So we had almost 12,000 listings created in 2024, which is almost 12,000 moments of reuse that could happen on our platform, aligned with our FF&E focus, you can see that our top categories from this past year include task chairs, filing cabinets, and even surgical instruments. On the next slide, that is on the supply side of what gets listed on Rheaply. And then from our exchanges and from our reuse moments, it adds up to a lot of items being moved. So we had over 150,000 individual items move across the platform. So that's 150,000 individual items that stayed out of landfill and got their next life. Highlighting the heaviest exchange, which was 108 workstations, which totaled 66,420 pounds that we were able to keep out of the landfill, all the way down to our lightest exchange, which is a very, very small number, which consisted of a single transfer pipette. Be really interested to see what that exchange actually looked like. And then highlighting our most bubbly exchange. We also have a lot of fun items that move across the platform and get to see their next life. And this includes EcoSet multicolor bubble wand, which I have never heard of. If anybody has heard of or has used this bubble wand before, I'd be very interested to know what that looks like. So in 2024, Rheaply was able to divert nearly 3 million pounds from the landfill, or I should say Rheaply's users were able to divert nearly 3 million pounds from the landfill, which is the equivalent of 6 statues of Liberty, which is a very impressive number to me. You can see our top categories here were workstations and cubicles, tableware and drinkware, and along with task chairs, again, aligning with our FF&E focus for today. Daniel, I will pass it to you to explain our carbon emissions. Daniel is our expert on embodied carbon here.
Thank you, Maddie. So kind of unique to Rheaply's platform. So we track another very important impact metric, which is embodied carbon. The way that we think about this and the way that we calculate this on our platform is the amount of embodied carbon in assets and materials that are not being brought into organizations because they're making better use of the stuff that they already have around them. So we have a database of embodied carbon emissions factors that then get multiplied by the items that are transacted to do that estimated embodied carbon metric. We all kind of know, and it's kind of common sense here, that a reused or a salvaged material is always going to be a better performing material when we think about embodied carbon than a new material. And this is our kind of effort to quantify that and put that in a reportable number. So if we look at our embodied carbon impact over the course of 2024, we have helped avoid almost 3 million kilograms of carbon emissions, which is a considerable amount of carbon, and I think is very reflective of the amount of carbon that goes into making the things that surround us every day. To put that into an easy to understand number, that's the equivalent of driving a single gasoline powered vehicle 7.6 million miles, which is about a 14-year road trip if you were driving at 60 miles per hour. So a pretty considerable amount of carbon and also a pretty considerable road trip.
Very long road trip indeed. We love to highlight the sustainability aspects of our impact metrics, but reuse also helps avoid unnecessary costs and help organizations save money. Exchanges on our platform totaled over $17 million in replacement value, which, putting it into perspective, is enough to buy a private island in Costa Rica, which is where I would love to go on my next vacation and escape the Chicago winter. And customers also trusted us with almost $8 million worth of donations to community groups and nonprofits in need across the US, which is a really great number to see. highlighting some of those donations that made a real difference in the community. I have to say, this is my favorite slide because look at that picture. That is so cute. We had 117 workstation cubicles that were worth $234,000 that went to the DeKalb County School District in Atlanta. For our most positive impact, we had 34,000 pounds of AstroTurf and carpet that went to Alone No More Dog Rescue in Phoenix. As you can see, this dog is enjoying that AstroTurf. And for our fastest donation, we actually had a 299-way tie for exchanges that took less than 1 day in 2024, which is great to see items moving that quickly on the platform, including an Xbox 360, a Nespresso machine, a leg massager, and a mini fridge. So you truly can find almost anything that you are looking for on Rheaply. And it's all powered by the Rheaply platform. This past year in 2024, we launched new features to make it easier than ever to reach your impact goals. Some of the features that were released were mobile inventorying for on-the-go item management. This makes it easier than ever to inventory the things that you have in buildings while you are using your mobile phone, you're on the go, you need to move quickly. We released enhanced suggestions and bulk tools to optimize item reuse. So our suggestions feature utilizes AI to create or to fill in fields like replacement value and weight, which will impact your sustainability reports, which Daniel will highlight in the demo in a little bit. And then we also had new reports this year for deeper insights into your impact, which really highlight the exchange activity that happens in your organization. And with that, I will hand it over to Daniel to share his screen and demo the platform.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so jumping in here. All right, so you should be able to see my screen now with the Rheaply platform displayed and some very creative listings here. This is a demo environment, so I can't speak to the validity of this Easter egg couch, whether it's real and whether it's something available, but I will be showing that a little bit today. So at Rheaply's most kind of basic core level, so our technology helps very complex organizations understand what they have and where they have it. It helps organizations redeploy that inventory across buildings and across different campuses, and then when they are truly no longer using that item, it helps them sell or donate that asset into the community in the most impactful way possible. So you'll see from my screen here, Rheaply looks like a standard e-commerce marketplace. So it's really easy to browse listings that are available that were created within my organization. It's very easy to click into those listings and get more information about where they are, about the description of that item, the condition that that item is in, and then we make it very easy to transact that item by just making a simple offer and communicating with the owner of that asset. All of that can be kind of configured to match the complexity of how assets are typically managed at very large enterprise scale organizations. So you can have multiple listing managers on an asset if you want other folks in your organization involved in that transfer and involved in that communication. You can add a variety of different tags to an item. And then you can also, when you're on the receiving end of assets, you can manage that within a project. So let's say I'm doing an office remodel and I want to add a whole bunch of different materials to that project. I can do that and I can manage all of that in one place. So the browsing and the offer and the transaction experience is all kind of built to match that enterprise scale, that enterprise kind of level of detail that's needed to move assets and materials across campuses at scale. getting information into Rheaply, doing that through creating listings is also super straightforward. You can create listings as a one-off. This is also completely mobile friendly. So if you're walking a space and doing this on a phone and you want to quickly add something that you see in your space, you can do that. Here's some of the basic information that we're looking for when you create a listing. Obviously, a descriptive title of what that item is. Photos, always super helpful and important. A little bit of categorization to categorize what an item is, and then information about the condition and any other descriptors that you can provide. We have some very useful tools for automating some of this information. So, for example, if I know the make and the model of the office chair that I'm sitting in right now, for example, I can put that into the title. I can click one button, and then Rheaply Suggestions, powered by AI, will populate all of the relevant details about that asset. This is really great for some of the hard to know details, so like the weight or the replacement costs. This is a great way of very quickly and very accurately populating that information. Let's say, maybe I'm at my desk and I'm looking to get a whole bunch of listings into Rheaply at one time. You can do that either through multiple listings, which gives you kind of more of a spreadsheet-like format to quickly upload information, or you can import listings via CSV. This is I've worked with a couple of these types of import tools on a few other different platforms, and I can confidently say, and not just because I work here, I can confidently say this is one of the best in the business when it comes to importing a whole lot of information at once via CSV. So you'll just drag, drop, and then map information to different attributes, and it's super easy and super straightforward to do. Our engineering team has made magic with this specific piece of functionality. All that being said, this is a relatively simple way of getting information into Rheaply. If you are working in an environment where you need a little more complex and a little more robust inventory management tools, we do have a connected tool to this that is a dedicated inventory management platform. I'm not going to show that today just because it gets a little into the weeds and a little into to too much detail. But if you are interested in seeing that, we would love to set up a demo after the fact, and we can walk you through what that tool looks like. But that's a great tool for warehouse managers or inventory managers, and for anybody that's managing a whole lot of information at scale across multiple buildings and multiple campuses. On the reporting side of things, so everything that's uploaded into Rheaply and everything that's transacted across Rheaply gets tracked in our backend data. We have a few in-platform dashboards showing the impact of those transactions as items are moving through the system. We have it broken up into 3 different areas. One, which I'm showing here, highlighting impact of internal reuse, so items that are exchanged within an organization. You can see total number of exchanges, total number of items, what the total cost avoidance is, what the total weight diversion is, and then that really cool embodied carbon avoided metric. There's lots of ways of slicing and dicing this data within this reporting interface. So if you want to group listings by category, you can do that. If you want to group listings by team or by location, all of that's done here. And then you can also slice and dice this information depending on date or location or listing managers or recipients. Very similar, you can also see in here another dashboard for materials that you are moving outside of your organization. So this would be items that you sell or donate into the community. And then if your organization is receiving materials from the Rheaply ecosystem, you can see another dashboard in here related to that external reuse received. So again, this is a super powerful tool for organizations organizations looking to track their impact from reuse and their impact from circularity, and can also be utilized in some very creative ways when we're thinking about reporting externally across an organization. So over the last year, we've had two of our larger customers, Citi and Google, highlight their Rheaply programs within their annual reports, and you can see some excerpts from that here. This is Rheaply. A Rheaply reuse program is a wonderful thing to add to a report like this. And if you're an existing Rheaply customer and you want to talk about doing that, we'd love to speak more about how we can tell stories through your reports and in your reports. And if you're not an existing Rheaply customer, we'd love to kind of showcase how this data can be used further. But yeah, so with that, we will kind of jump into the Q&A section now.
Amazing. Which brings in me. I'm Jen. I work on Rheaply's marketing team, and I am playing the important role today of reading your questions out loud. So if you have one, be sure to submit it in the Q&A panel. I see a few trekking in. But let's start with, how do you overcome concerns about liability when making donations? And is there any safeguards for this? How do we handle donation concerns?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that. So external sharing through Rheaply is highly permissionable and highly configurable. So there's different layers and different kind of concentric sharing circles that can be built into the platform. Where if you are dealing with sensitive assets or information and you only want to share that with a small number of external organizations, you can configure that and you can build that in. You can also then expand that circle either on a time delay or other kind of configurations to slowly expose more and more information to a wider group. But we recognize that a lot of companies do have sensitivities around sharing information, and so that's an area when we think about external exchange that we've really put a lot of time and focus into. So in terms of the actual mechanics of an external transaction, if you have requirements like certificates of insurance, or if you have other kind of rules of engagement for letting external organizations on site or sharing things with external organizations, we can build a lot of those kind of rules and permissions in as well as we go along and set things up.
Amazing. Amazing. Next question. How does weight get determined? Is that from manual input? I know you showed a little bit of the suggestions, but if you could talk about the different ways that the weights of assets get input into the platform.
Yeah, I am happy to take that question. So yeah, like Daniel demoed today, in the listing creation form, there is a field for weight. So that will be, it can be manually input by the user as they're uploading if they have the product specs available or if they know the weight off the top of their head. But like Daniel demoed, we do have the AI suggestions feature, which can generate weight for the user if you have the title. We know that not everybody has a scale sitting around to weigh all of these items, and it can be pretty hard to know the weight of something just off the top of your head. And even Googling can sometimes be difficult to determine the weight. So we have built this AI suggestions feature, which uses data from across the internet to try and generate the most specific weight for the item that you are uploading. We do understand that it is an estimate, but we do use that feature so that users can upload that weight. And then once it's been uploaded from the listing, it will show up in those impact reports.
Amazing. Super helpful. Our next question, do any companies use this as a starting point to keeping track of their assets?
Yes, I would say almost, yeah, every company that we work with uses this as a starting point to keeping track of their assets, and that's kind of right at that speaks right to the core of our thesis here at Rheaply, that by better managing data about assets that exist in the space, we can then obviously use it as a starting point for tracking assets, but we can also leverage that information and that asset tracking to create impact through reuse.
Amazing. Next question. Do you handle building maintenance equipment like solar water tanks, pumps, and controls? An equipment specific question.
We do, yeah. I'll take that one too, Maddie. Yeah, we do. So we work with a lot of building products and building materials, including MEP equipment, mechanical and engineering equipment. So we have we also have a full build out of categories on Rheaply that is following the CSI master format categories. So if you are working with that type of equipment, then that can be easily uploaded and tracked on Rheaply as well. So yeah, great question. And I do see a follow up too as well around photovoltaic panels. That is something that we can also track and transact on Rheaply as well. And a very interesting kind of category of materials too. I think we see a lot of focus and attention being put on the recycling of solar panels, which I think is great for panels that are truly at end of life. But I think with that focus and attention, we've kind of neglected the reuse potential of photovoltaic panels. So we always get really excited when we see those on our platform, and when we hear conversations around the reuse of PVs, because I think there's a whole lot of potential to help build the reuse market for those items.
Amazing. We get excited about all types of materials that come to our platform, don't we? Okay, I think we've got time for one more question before our wrap up. And we'll go with this one. When items are in so shape, do you help connect to any refurbishment service providers in order to divert the items? Or maybe more broadly, how do we handle items that are not in pristine condition?
Daniel, go for it.
Happy to. Yeah. So among that group, that ecosystem of 3,500 or so organizations that are on Rheaply, that group includes a number of really wonderful organizations working in the repair and refurbishment space. And so, we have lots of service providers that day in, day out are looking for those so condition items, and have some wonderful and amazing capabilities to either replace parts or to reupholster or to clean them up in some form or fashion to get them back into use. And a lot of the times the motion and the interaction between our enterprise customers and those organizations looks like material being tracked and identified within the organization. We know what the condition that's in. It goes out, it gets cleaned up, and then it comes back. And that's the kind of scenario that we love to see and we love to hear about, and we love to track on Rheaply, because that's just another kind of extra layer into keeping things in use for as long as possible. So yes, that's definitely an area where we put a lot of focus and a lot of emphasis, and also get very enthusiastic about it. Okay, so I think we're right at time. If you are looking for more details about some of the data that we presented today, we would love for you to go to our website and check out our just released 2024 Rheaply Reuse Recap Report. It's a wonderful report. It goes into details on all the metrics that we touched on, and some extra stories as well from some of our customers and some of the organizations that we work with. So be sure to go check that out.
And just want to shout out Jen and the marketing team on that. It is a very beautiful report that tells a lot of really great stories. Definitely would encourage everyone to take a look at that and look at all of the beautiful work that Jen put into it. Just want to say thank you everybody to joining today. If you'd like to see how Rheaply can work for you, you can go to that URL right there, register for a demo, connect with somebody on our team. Me and Daniel would also be happy to connect with you as well. And thank you again for joining.